What's up, YouTube and PTG? My name is Jeff. I also go by PokePrimer, and we are back for a new season of PTG. This is PTG Season 9. Yeah, PTG's still going. They're going strong. PTG's fantastic. I really enjoy being a part of PTG, so I'm glad to be back once again for their first Gen 9 season. We are back on Wi-Fi, so you'll be seeing Wi-Fi battles here for the PTG, which is going to be super fun because I haven't played on Wi-Fi. I haven't done a Wi-Fi draft game, like proper draft season game. I've done a few like Wi-Fi draft tournaments, but like they were not super serious, and they're just kind of like doing them for the fun of it and whatnot. So it's going to be interesting to see how this goes. It's going to be a lot of fun. You know, there's still the 20-minute timer, so we're going to be trying to play super quick, super fast, and go hard. And so a lot of these teams are really strong, really offensive, really like absurdly OP. You know, as is most things in Gen 9, because Gen 9 is a broken generation. For everyone who's been looking into competitive so far, everything is broken. When everything's broken, it feels like nothing's broken, but it also gets super fun. So we're going to jump into things. This is my draft analysis for PTG, and it is going to be hype. So the way that they're doing things, I think we all have rosters of 10 Mons, if I remember correctly. 10 Mon rosters. We had, we do some basic counting, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, rosters of 10. Basically, we picked 2 S tiers, 2 A tiers, 2 B tiers, 3 C tiers, and then there's a wildcard slot. The wildcard slot is really interesting because it can really make or break a team, and I do emphasize break in regards to ours. The way it works is you're basically going to be spun another tier for that slot. It could be any of the tiers. Obviously, it's weighted. So there's like a 1 in 10 chance to get another S tier, 2 in 10 for A tier, 3 in 10 for B, and then the rest for C. Why did that just happen? Go away. Anyway, so yeah, so we, you know, roll the tier, and then we would get to pick another Mon from whatever tier we roll. You could re-roll it if you so choose, but whatever you get for the first roll, that's going to be on your team for week 1. I don't foresee me re-rolling mine, but we'll get to that eventually. But let's just go ahead over my team real quick. I'm going to try to make this, you know, faster than I usually do, because apparently I can be a tad long-winded. I don't know where I've heard this from. I feel like I talk a lot. Something along those lines. But yeah, we're gonna try to avoid that. But you know, it's me, so it's gonna happen. So to start off the draft, my main goal in all of my Gen 9 drafts, I'm currently in a lot. Not a lot of them are getting uploaded, but I'm currently in a good bit. And I was drafting for a lot of them simultaneously. So the big plan for me is basically been trying to draft as many of the new Gen 9 Mons as possible, because I want to have personal first-hand experience with as many as I can. I'm pretty sure I was able to play at some point with just about every single Mon that was new in Gen 8 at some point or another I've used in draft. So now is time for me to start working on working my way through the Gen 9 Paldea decks. So, with that being said, I started off with possibly one of the most fun-seeming Mons to use, and that's going to be Iron Valiant. I'm going to be calling it Kybertron, because it's, you know, based on, you know, Gardevoir / Gallade. It's got the big blades and stuff, so like it's rocking the massive dual discs. I always called my Mecha Gallades Kaiba, so I feel like the big metal version is gonna, you know, being Kybertron makes sense. This Mon is, without a shadow of a doubt, the best mixed attacker ever designed. 130 attack, 120 special attack, 116 speed. This thing is just an offensive powerhouse. Gonna have to protect that base 60 Spadef, but that's not too hard to do. I have some really solid Spadef walls on my team, so I can protect it pretty effectively. But I don't know if I mentioned this, but this league is free Terra, so anything can Terra at any point in time, which is really cool. So I can plan for defensive Terras, I can plan for offensive Terras for different situations, and that's really sick. But yeah, Kybertron here, pretty sick mon, fairy fighting, amazing offensive typing. Quirk Drive activates with Electric Terrain or with Booster Energy, but the Booster Energy item is banned. We'll get more into Quirk Drive later, but it's either a 1.3 times boost or to offensive stats / defensive stats, or it's a 1.5 to speed. So it's either a free choice scarf or a free life orb attached to this mon, just off of off rip at any time Electric Terrain is up, so that's pretty sweet. Coverage wise, I don't really think I need to go too into detail. This thing sets up on either side pretty effectively. It has coverage for most of the types to some extent, and a lot of it's actually usable coverage as well, which is really important. So this thing's gonna be insane for people to prep for. I have options for so many mons, and it's gonna be a blast. So I'm very excited to test out my boy Iron Valiant here and see how much crazy work I can put in with it. It's gonna be a good time. Next up, I wanted to pick up my other S tier, and I figured I'd grab someone who seems really cool to work alongside this one. Plus, they kind of look like they're brothers to an extent. We have Salza, the Sterile Edge. Salza, because the Dragon Ball Z character from the Cooler movie, he is laser sword as his main attack that he uses in the movie. So this is the best that I have for this thing at the moment, until I come up with a better nickname in the future. But for right now, that's what I have for Sterile Edge. But yeah, Flash Fire, weak armor for abilities, really solid abilities for this mon. Some really good natural bulk with really solid attack, really good decent solid speed. It's definitely the best competitively of him and his companion, I guess. Him and his companion, the Armor Rouge, even though I personally like Armor Rouge's design more. But yeah, this thing's really solid offensive, physical attacker. It's saved from a Bitter Blade, base 90, recovers 50% of the damage dealt. That's super strong. If I can get this thing going in a match, I can just keep healing up any damage really effectively with Bitter Blade, because it's just so strong, and it's going to be doing a lot of damage from that base 125 attack stat. So I'll be able to keep this thing relatively healthy mid-sweep, and it's going to be really sweet to try to utilize it. Plus, a bunch of Terra options, so I can make this thing even more dominant and terrifying that way, which is really cool. So, yeah. Next up, I decided to scoop up Lil Prick, the Pincurchin. He's just a little prick. The entire purpose of picking up Pincurchin is because I want to be able to actually utilize my Quirk Drive on Iron Valiant. Having access to the Electric Terrain just makes Iron Valiant that much stronger. But also, I don't even need Quirk Drive to make Iron Valiant be good. It doesn't need Quirk Drive to be good, but having access to it makes my draft just that much better. Pincurchin's decently bulky. Its HP stat hinders it a lot, but it's still a decently bulky mon. Being able to set the Electric Terrain so it can't be put to sleep by things as well, which is also a huge plus. It also gives me some good hazard options, which is going to be very nice for us in this league, especially because there's so few hazard removers in Pokemon right now. There's so few hazard removers. Defoggers and Rapid Spinners are a rarity. an extreme rarity. So any hazards I can get up are likely going to be there for a large portion of the game. People are going to have to run boots more often. People are going to have to try to prioritize getting hazards removed, or like there's just going to be some teams where I don't think either have any removal or good removal. Like the removal might not be good at all, so it's going to be really interesting to see. I've been encouraging a snag killer too off of just spike and toxic spike damage. So it's going to be a lot of fun with that. Next up, we scooped up Cubert the Toad Scroll. I say Cubert because like he's got his little like newt face, and then watching him move in game, he bounces, which I thought was really funny. Some of these mons I just put like a whole crap ton of moves that they know that are relevant. So like Toad Scroll has just so much going for him. It's got Spore, Trick Room, Spikes. I'm pretty sure this thing, it doesn't get rocks, but you know, it's got Spikes, Toxic Spikes. It's got Screens. You know, standard grass ground coverage and stuff like that. You know, really solid stuff. It's another knockoff user, which is always fun. The only thing that really is a downside for Toad Scroll, right? Like it's something that hurts him a bit, is the Mycelium Might ability. Pokemon status moves go last in their priority bracket, so like one of the things it's most usable for is its status moves, so always going last with them is going to kind of suck. But it does ignore abilities, so like I can spore in, or I could, does this thing get toxic? Yeah. I can toxic an immunity, you know, curse Snorlax. No, Snorlax isn't in the game, but it's just an example. I can spore something with Insomnia, or you know, something along those lines. I can do stuff like that with Toad Scroll, which is really kind of fun. So it's going to be, you know, situational depending on the matchup, but I think Toad Scroll is going to be really useful. I mean, its Spadef stat is also going to be really, really good for the team to kind of patch up that little hole, help out with protecting our boy Iron Valiant. Huge fan of that. Moving on, we have our water type. We're going to grab Mrs. Puff, the Quillfish. Another spiker, toxic spiker. Spikes are pretty much on like half of my team, and they're going to be going up in almost every game. I just want people to be aware of that. You're going to be seeing spikes all the time. I'm going to be spiking on everything. But we have Quillfish here with the Intimidate. Solely here for the Intimidate to be a bulky water. Get it the hazards and such. You know, does Destiny Bond things. It's got its dual stabs and such as well. Just be a solid supportive mon for the team. Works really, really well with the rest of my squad. So I'm very excited for that. Next up, another new mon we're scooping up. We got Orthworm Jim here. Fantastic ability for a Steel-type Earth Eater. Just removes one of his weaknesses, one of the few weaknesses Steel actually has, which is amazing. This thing's only weak to fighting and fire now, which is really, really awesome. Only 2 weaknesses for the whole mon. That's amazing. I can really work with that. You know, it's a mon that has Stealth Rocks, which is first for my team so far. So we actually do have Rocks access, which is great for me. This thing has Body Press with this insane 145 defense stat. It's going to be huge. It's going to be really great to use. But another really important thing about this mon is it has... where is it? Why is it not up here? Why is it in the usually used? That's BS. Shedtail. It's got Shedtail. It takes half its max HP, passes sub. Like, yes, Orthworm is not as good as Cyclizar in doing it, because Cyclizar has the Regenerator, so it basically only spends 17% of its health to pass the sub to someone. But even still, just having access to this move in general makes things so much better. And I'm hoping that, like, I can catch an opponent off guard with it as well. Not so much with the Shed Tail portion, but like with my ability, you know, I can get this thing in on they click a ground move just randomly, thinking like, oh, they have nothing to come in on this. I bring in Jim, and I'm immune. I get some healing off of it, and then I can Shed Tail out as they're like freaking out because like, oh my god, this Steel type stopped my ground move, something like that. Obviously, like the guys in PTG are really good, so I don't expect any of them to really fall for that, but you know, a man can be hopeful. I think Orthworm can put in some work for us. Next up, we have my boy Ramses, the Rabska. Love Rabska. I used it in my playthrough team for a little while. It was really solid, really fun. Yeah, it's just a solid bug psychic type. It's really slow, but it's got like really good bulk. It has access to Trick Room, Calm Mind, Recover, stuff like that. It does have access to that Revival Blessing move, but we do have that banned, which I think is really smart. Revival Blessing is stupid. The person who designed Revival Blessing is a horrible human being, and they deserve to be called as such. Yeah, this thing's just a bulky mon. It's got some, especially offensive moves. It's got some coverage. Yeah, it's filling a spot on the team. It's going to be putting in. It's going to put in some work. I'm sure I'll be able to make Rabska put in some work because it's just a really fun mon, and I think it has a lot of potential. Next up, continuing onward, we have our dragon type for the team. That's going to be Skrillex, our Noivern. You know, you got a Defogger, which is super duper important, very incredibly important. We unfortunately do not have Rapid Spin, which kind of sucks. I really no, we do have Rapid Spin. We have Toad Scroll. Never, who am I talking about? All right, yeah, we have both forms of hazard removal, which is really good because I'm sure there's going to be matchups where I don't feel like hazards are super necessary. So having access to Defog is going to be incredible for this team. This thing hits like a truck, is so strong. It's incredibly fast. It's one of my fastest mons. My second fastest mon, in fact, which is crazy because it's base 123, which is an absurd speed stat. It's just overall really solid. It got so much better in Gen 8. It became a much more fun mon to use in Gen 8. And now it's back here in Gen 9 and looking like it's going to be just as solid as a kind of almost glue-ish mon to hold the team together to keep things moving. So I'm excited to snag my boy Skrillex here. He's gonna be an absolute demon for people to deal with. For my last regular draft pick, I picked up my boy Sesame, the Gradient, looking like he's straight off of Sesame Street. This thing is just here to be fat. This is just budget Snorlax. It has access to, you know, not a lot in terms of like setup, but it's just a really bulky mon. It does have access to Stuffed Cheeks, which I can give it a berry, have it eat that berry, get some healing off of like Cheek Pouch and stuff, and like set up my defenses for like Body Press. I have access to Super Fang and stuff to like kind of really like keep the opponent's team chipped down. You know, just overall solid mon. Like it's not going to come to every game, obviously, but it's going to put in some work in the few that it does, which is really cool. So now, for my wild card, I got absurdly lucky. Y'all know me, I don't get luck. I don't get lucky with these things. I don't roll luckily. So I ended up getting another S-tier pick. So I have 3 S-tiers on my team, which is crazy. And so like looking at like what typings I had, you know, offensively, defensively, and stuff like that. Looking at what typings I had on my team as of this moment, and looking at what the S tiers left, there was really only one choice I could go with, and that is the boy, Diego the Chen Pao. Obvious Ice Age reference, it's obvious, he's Sabretooth, and, you know, Diego's a Sabretooth, and it makes sense, so, you know. This thing is so good. Base 120 attack, base 135 speed. It's literally better Weavile. It's the same typing, but like better stats across the board, pretty much. And what makes it even stronger is the Sword of Ruin ability. So it lowers the defense stat of all other active Pokemon by 25%. So it's basically like it's just shy of putting everything at -1, which is really, really strong. Really, really, really good. So more or less, this thing basically lives with like a constant like damage buff on its physical attacks that rivals, you know, Life Orb Weavile. It's like pretty much it hits as hard as Life Orb Weavile, pretty much, which is so dumb. It's so dumb. It's got, you know, super reliable Ice Spinner now for Ice Stab, which is even better than Weavile ever has been. Like, just having access to Ice Spinner makes this thing so much stronger, because, like, I don't have to miss Icicle Crashes. I don't have to miss Triple Axle, like, risk the fact that my Triple Axle might not hit all 3 times, and stuff like that. Ice Spinner just hits. It's just guaranteed base 80, it hits. You know, with Crunch, I have priority with, like, Ice Shard, Sucker Punch, you know, Sacred Sword for, like, coverage. I can set up with Sword Stances. I also have the signature move of the Ruin Trio, which is Ruination, which is just a Dark-type version of Nature's Madness. So, you know, cut people's HP in half. When I'm already able to hit things for as hard as I am, being able to cut something's HP in half for free, pretty much, as long as it lands, because, you know, it's 90% accuracy, but basically being able to cut something's HP in half for free is insane. Absolutely insane. So, this Mon is going to be a nuts Pokemon for people to deal with. I'm super looking forward to using it. This is one of the Mons that was like top of my list of Mons I wanted to test out and see how it was going to be in draft, see if it was going to be, you know, super broken. We're going to find out. We're going to all find out together, so yeah, that's going to be it for this one. Our week 1 opponent is going to be Anders, our boy Anders, so shout-outs to Anders. You know, he's a great dude, great dude. Really like Anders. Really, really like Anders. He's one of my favorite PTG guys. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. And until next time, I'm PokePrimer, signing off. Peace.